I'm checking in from a very interesting place today where I've been learning actually about raising fish and raising exotic fish at that. I'm here with Kevin and Laura Engelsman from the Lake Ridge Farm Koi Nursery and Water Gardens. And that's just about an hour northeast of Toronto, so not far at all. And we're in here now in the greenhouse with, I guess a pond or a pool. What do you call this installation here?
It's a tank.
It's a tank, okay. And there are baby fish in here. What are these baby fish?
These are baby koi.
Baby koi. Canadian-raised baby koi.
That's correct.
Because there's a big difference, you were explaining, Laura, between Japanese koi and Canadian koi.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a, I guess, a misunderstanding. People know that koi originally in areas of Asia, Japan, that's where they originated.
Yes.
But the idea is if it's a Japanese koi, properly labeled Japanese koi, that would be an imported fish.
Right.
These fish are koi, but they're correctly labeled domestic koi. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's also a price difference if people want to buy those.
Oh, absolutely. The fish that we start off with is a 2 to 4 inch fish at $9.99. The Japanese fish of 2 to 4 inches could start off at maybe $40 to $50 or more, depending on the quality of the fish.
Exactly.
If it was from a named breeder, that sort of thing, it elevates the price of the fish because there's a lot more value to the person that perhaps will raise that fish, maybe wants to show the fish or use the fish for a breeding program.
Okay.
There's just as much beauty and variety in the domestic fish. It doesn't have that, I guess, that little bit
mystique.
of a... That's right. You know,
but it is genetically the same fish?
Sure it is.
It is the same fish?
Yeah, it's absolutely the same fish.
Okay.
It comes from, basically, those Japanese parents could very well have stayed in Japan and had their babies raised there. But we've imported them, brought them here to Canada, and we're raising the babies here in Canadian water, which is a little bit of difference in areas and regions. The water chemistry varies.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So these fish have been raised up in this hard water. They've hatched out. They're surviving. Generally, before we sell a fish, it's usually wintered over. So and there's a bit of a misunderstanding too. Some people think because of the fact that these are imported that they're not a cold water fish, but they are.
They are cold water fish.
Yeah,
okay.
They're simply a fancy colored carp.
Fancy colored carp.
Fancy colored carp.
Now, they were never eaten in Japan? They were basically there for ornamental purposes?
No, they were actually eaten.
Oh, they were eaten?
Yeah, they were raised as a protein source to the farmers in the different fields and farms and stuff that they worked on. In the rice paddies, they would have these fish in, say, some of the irrigation ditches and things. They would raise them up, and it was a little bit of a surprise to some of the farmers that the fish actually had different colors. There was some of them, perhaps it was just a freak of nature. It ended up a little bit brighter than one of the other fish, and they're very superstitious people, so they decided that must mean something.
Oh, of course,
So they collected that fish up, and it was like
and
something
started
special.
breeding it.
That's right. So then they started going from there.
That's right. Now, what do we have in this tank here?
It's a little bit
hard to see.
Yeah, if you want to move around.
Let me see,
we keep the net on the fish just because sometimes they jump. This is an assortment of domestic koi of a variety of sizes and fins.
Yeah.
They have there's short fin koi, like a standard fin. There's a long fin koi, which are called butterflies.
Feeding time.
He's throwing a little bit of food, but they're a little hesitant to come up, I think.
Yeah, but they're also very bright, but they're not as spotty as the other ones.
Yeah,
they're more like plain single color orange.
That's just a coincidence right now. That happens to be the patterns that we have right now in the tank.
Okay.
But we do have some other brightly colored, varied patterns and stuff. They all have different names. Japanese terminology for their color patterns. There's akabeko, there's a Midori goi, there's a platinum ogon, there's a kigoi butterfly, or long fin as the Japanese would say. So these are all domestic koi, actually except for the Midori goi. He's a small male that he happens to be in there because this is a netted tank, and I don't want him in with the other boys in case they push him.
So you keep them separate by gender, males and females?
Not with the domestic retail stock, but this little guy was, he's gone through his quarantine, he was imported. He's safe now to be in with these guys, but I just don't want him to jump.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to visit the big star in the next tank, but I'll come back in another clip for that. Thanks, Laura.
No problem.